Last week, members of the California Legislative Black Caucus addressed the board of directors for Covered California, expressing their concerns that Covered California was not doing enough to reach African Americans in order to get them to enroll in the Affordable Care Act.
I want to express profound and universally felt disappointment in what appears to be Covered California's lack of commitment to a comprehensive African American outreach.
Assemblymember Cheryl Brown shared with the board a list of complaints that her office had received from multiple statewide and local community leaders. At the top of their list was the apparent lack of a comprehensive plan to boost enrollment of African Americans.
When the LA Times reported that Covered California did not meet its base projections with African Americans, but doubled its reach to other communities, the caucus was asked to intervene by various community leaders that described the outreach efforts to be thrown together and that they were disingenuous.
Brown also pointed out that while Covered California did boost outreach efforts to Latinos, the lack of commitment that they showed to African Americans could lead to significant penalties being owed by the black community to the IRS for failure to purchase insurance.
If penalties for this year take effect, African Americans will have to pay over $8 million in penalties to the IRS. And that's something that the Legislative Black Caucus cannot allow to happen on our watch.
Assemblymember Stephen Bradford also shared his frustration, pointing out a number of key errors made by Covered California that could have likely led to their poor enrollment numbers amongst African Americans.
The firms that you use, if you really do your homework, some of them have a non-urban dictate. That means they do not buy ethnic, electronic, or print media. Many of the firms that are constantly used to quote-unquote reach minorities, communities, that's their mode of operation. When you showed us your list of media outreach and in the geographic areas that you're hoping to target, you had LA outreach with San Bernardino organized papers and things of that nature, and we were seeing San Bernardino is a totally demographic area from LA, and a media paper that's produced in San Bernardino doesn't reach people in LA. We also saw the list of quote-unquote celebrity spokespersons that had been identified as, I guess, faces for this program, and I asked, well, how did you come up with this list? And I was told, well, they have a large Facebook and Twitter following. I'm pretty sure you're not using Facebook and Twitter followings to identify other ethnic communities.
Bradford went on to say that he was offended by the lack of commitment by Covered California to developing an inclusive and comprehensive plan to reach the African American community.
I really wish, in all honesty, that there would be a real effort instead of the social lubricants that we see all the time being used to reach our communities. And I just have no other way to put it, because I'm offended. And again, if I hadn't had the experience and if I didn't have the context and I didn't take your directive honestly and do the homework to provide you with individuals who then told me they were never contacted. Never contacted. It's one thing to contact them and say, hey, there's no marriage here, it doesn't work, but you didn't even contact them.
Covered California Executive Director Peter Lee expressed his opinion that Covered California had made great strides in all communities, including the African American community. However, board member Susan Kennedy suggested that Lee needed to accept the lawmakers' input and work with staff to respond and resolve Legislative Black Caucus concerns.
Was your response they're wrong?
Some of the issues of did we have a coordinated effort specifically to reach out to the African American community? We absolutely did. Our grants for open enrollment outreach included targeted grants, and by and large, the data shows that African Americans
I heard you the first time. I just think that our response to the members should be that we're going to look into it and take their concerns really seriously.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Thank you.